Is it some bright ride on my core? This is the moment you're meant to know.
Hello there, sunflowers, and how are you guys today? Well, I'm here to do an updated reading on Rihanna since following her incident early this month. Now that we're at the end of March, and this happened towards the very beginning of March, around March 7th, March 8th, when this had happened, when her home was allegedly shot at by Ivana Lisette Ortez. So because of that, we have now, just within the last week, I believe, had a first court hearing to see how this case is going to go down, because she has 14 charges, 10 for assault with a semi-automatic firearm, 3 accounts for for shooting at an inhabited dwelling, and then 1 for, of course, the attempt of offing somebody. And because of that, here's what has happened allegedly in the last court. Ivana has claimed and pleaded not guilty. Yes, I said claim because she said, and I quote, "I would like to say that I wasn't attempting to red room someone." But that's all I'm allowed to say. So out of her own words, that's why she is not pleading guilty. And she also wanted to try to waive the right to a speedy preliminary hearing. And then she also wanted to lower her bail to $70,000. So it could be something that she could be able to more afford. However, the bail was denied because the court has considered her a dangerous person. And then surprisingly, guess what? If she is convicted, she has life in prison. So because of that, and according to TMZ, her license to be a speech language pathologist in California is allegedly up for the stakes. So because of that, she could also lose her position as a pathologist, which is her career. So yikes on her for that one. However, guess what? According to this court, we now have the alleged police documents and what Rihanna's account of what had happened that day. So we are clear for sure that Rihanna, ASAP, the children, her mother, and allegedly 2 staff members and 2 neighbors were all present in the home. Yes. However, Rihanna and ASAP were not in the main house. They were in the trailer, the Airstream trailer in particular. And Rihanna was near the window. She heard it first. ASAP Rocky is asleep. So once she heard the sound the first time, it almost didn't register. But once she had saw the damage that was done to the glass, that's when it had clicked. Oh my God. Wakes up honey saying we're being shot at, get down on the ground. And then once it's quiet and it seems like it's a peaceful time where she can be able to get from the trailer to the main house. So she's got to track outside. So she wasn't sure. So she's got to wait till it's clear. And now that it's clear, the first moment she goes and she's trying to secure to make sure her children and her mother are okay. And apparently the nursing room was also shot at as well. But as we know, there was no injuries and no bullets actually got it through the house. It only put dents into the metal. So because of that, thank goodness that nobody was hurt during this. But we see how close somebody could have gotten hurt, whether it was Rihanna, whether it was the children, or whether it was an innocent person that wasn't even a resident of the property. So because of that, other things that we have learned is that it was a deeply unsettling encounter for both her and her family, and I do not blame her either. So that is all that I have to recount for you guys that we have learned from this court doc. So I just want to know, and I want to pull some cards to see, now that we have heard the story, now that this court is on the way to happening. However, the person on trial is claiming that they weren't trying to off her or anybody in the house, but it was just some random alleged shooting, and we don't know the motive. Still, we do not know the motive. However, we do know that there is, I mean, some people could say that the motive was mental health. Some could say that she just had a beef with Rihanna and it took it serious and took it a little bit too far. And Rihanna has even said allegedly in this police report that she has had death threats before, but she never had anybody try to act on a death threat. So it is a whole new ball game for her. It's like uncharted territory. It's like one of those things where you're just like, never me, right? So because of that, let's see how Rihanna is coping since a month, almost a month later. How is Rihanna dealing? I was honestly pretty quick to get her in court. Usually court cases have to take quite a while before we even hear some reports. But how Rihanna is feeling in this present moment is the 10 of Wands. I'm not surprised. This is a burden. It's still a burden. I'm not sure if she's going to testify. I'm not sure if her family members are going to testify. But let's see what the foundation card is at this moment. The King of Wands. I honestly like that, though. Let's see what the past card is. The Four of Pentacles is actually interesting. The Seven of Wands. Wow, she is hot and fiery right now. And then we move. Oh, okay. Like I said, right in this present moment, she's hot and fiery. We got the Seven of Wands, 10 of Wands, King of Wands. Really strong cards. And then, but in her past, in her present, in her past and her future, we have Earth cards, which Earth can simmer down the fire. But Earth also gives a place for fire to burn as well. So it's like complementary, but also weighing heavy, because you just got to think about how heavy Earth is. But hold on. I'm getting way ahead of myself. So first, how is Rihanna feeling in this present moment now that this situation has happened, now that the court trial is happening, the public are allegedly hearing her report, her re-encounter of the incident. She's feeling like the 10 of Wands. It's a bit too much. It's a bit too heavy. And like, I'm not sure if you could see, but actually you guys can. You can see there's a house or a home that the man seems to be traveling back to. And that's the kind of energy that I see with Rihanna. Not that she's traveling back to the house, but the fact that this is still too close to home. So it is heavy for her, and it's probably honestly something I don't even think she wants to deal with. And because it's a 10, it's ready to close the chapter and move on. And moving on, it's like still moving on with a headache, because she still feels like she has to defend herself. Well, honestly, she probably might have to defend herself and go on. First, we had the police reports, but this is just the first part. So because of that, we have to see what's going on. We still got more to come. So with the Seven of Wands, this symbolizes that she is prepping herself mentally to be able to deal with this thing, because she knows that it is something impending in her near future. And as the King of Wands right here as her foundation, she's feeling strong. She's feeling fiery. I don't want to say still heated, because the first time I did the reading, I'm getting that same sentimental energy, not like in the first reading, sorry guys, my contacts. In the first reading, she was feeling a bit more emotional and like because I like did it that like within like the first 24 hours. So in that point, it was still like a whirlwind. It was still an emotional storm for her to wrap her head around. It was almost like she was in a hazy daisy like phase. Like, did this really just happen to me? Did this really me, the Rihanna, have this happen to me? It was just like kind of like that thing. And now we still see that energy, but that energy has transformed into a King of Wands, which is like rising above that energy and realizing all that fear, all that energy that she was feeling has transformed more into a defensive, more aggressive, not like aggressive, fire's aggressive, like aggressive in the sense that she is going to have to go in there with a brave face and go in there strong. And she's going to have to face the person that almost tried to off her. And because of that, that's something that she's got to muster up strength within inside of herself. Not to mention she's still processing it. So because of that, it's like putting on like the face, the brave face, as they say. So because of that, that's where this. So underneath that 10 of Wands, we see the King of Wands. So we see somebody that is still strong. And honestly, it's like underneath the 7 of Wands, which is like trying to like peek through and be able to see clearly and try to make your own stance and make sure that your voice is heard. We have here the 10 of Wands underneath that, a burden, just want to get this over with, just want to move on from this chapter in my life. Right underneath that, the King of Wands, somebody who is very dominant and very assertive with their energy. So because she is assertive with her energy, she's just going to go in there, like they say, I came, I saw, I conquered. She also too wants this to be just as over with as Ivana wants it over with. But we see here in the past is the 4 of Pentacles, which usually, given the circumstances where she came from, it seems like for this 4 of Pentacles to be here, that's what it was, because she was home. Like I said, it's all like a little too close to home. She was in the comfort of her own home where she can be herself, be whoever she is. And this 4 of Wands symbolized that when her guard was down, she felt as though now she has to build her guards up now, because now even her home, her fortress, her property, her safe haven can even be attacked. Like we heard in the court documents. Yeah, I've had threats before, but no, I've never had anybody do something before. So because of that, it's a shift in perspective. It's a shift of reality, of realizing that her physical reality, Earth, isn't as what it seems. So she feels a bit more hoarded, a bit more protective, a little almost like mama bear-ish, like just wants to make sure everybody is safe and is always safe, always keep your phones on you, stuff like that, fingers up, things like that. Maybe up her security even more, so that way something like this doesn't happen, because you got to also wonder, how did this get past security? But all that to be said, that's why now in this present moment, given all that in the past, that's why she's fiery, that's why she's assertive, that's why she's just ready to get it over and done with, because it was traumatic for her and she doesn't want to relive and still stay stuck in those feelings. Fire is all about moving. Fire does not stay still. So because of that, she's like, I just want to get past this point of my life so I can move forward. And we see the Hierophant. She just wants to get back to her life. She just wants to get back to the tradition, what's normal to her family, her loved ones, her committed life that she had before all this happened. She just wants to go back to that, like I said. So because of that, she's trying to just, I can't even say make peace. She just wants to move on. Alright, so I was trying to figure out if I wanted which kind of cards I wanted to pull out. So I'm going to pull out the Oracle cards. And before I close out, I have a couple of questions that I want to ask. My first question is going to be directly directly about Ivana, and I want to know, how does Rihanna feel hearing the testament of Ivana saying that she wasn't trying to, like they say, red room? How does Rihanna feel going through the experience of almost being red roomed? How does it feel to hear somebody say, "Oh, I wasn't trying to red room you, though"? Like, what, were you actually trying to, and it wasn't an attempt? Like, what? Like, what do you mean you wasn't? But anyway, how does Rihanna feel about it? I really like that because that all goes with this fire energy. The card that came out was concentration, and fire is really good for concentrating and focusing energy. Even though I said fire doesn't stay still, but when you concentrate on the a flame or just fire in general, you see the fluidity, you see the power, the influence, the energy that fire itself creates. Even though it may be still, it's not still within inside of itself. And that's what I see here, right here in this concentration, because we see action or power of focusing your attention. And that's exactly what Rihanna is doing, because this is something that was in her immediate past. It is something that she's hyper fixated on at this point. And like I said, it was a bit traumatic for her. So to hear this, to see this, to have the audience now know what happened, it's almost like it's something she thinks about day in, day out, maybe read articles about it, maybe just, and you know how you can get when you're a bit obsessive and you're just putting all your time and energy into it because you just wanna. It's like consumed her, literally and metaphorically, because that's what fire also does. I'm getting all these fire terms for you guys today. It's just the energy here. So that's like that sort of concentration here as I'm taking my time to concentrate on concentration. But no, for real though, we see here that with all this fire energy within inside of herself, she is trying to figure out what to do with this energy, the feelings that she has, the scaredness, the wanting to be protected and be safe, the idea of feeling violated, even having to deal with that, and then having to now have this be a court case. It might be something that you have to relive. Remember, think about it. Kim had to relive her Paris incident like a decade later. So to think about it, like I said, usually we've got to wait years for these kinds of things to happen. Now, that was a different country, but like even if you think about the whole Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively case, it's taking quite a while, right? So because of that, here it's like with Rihanna in this case, it's like getting right straight to the point. And you honestly got to question and wonder, why is that? It's like the severity is like right here. We got life, 14 charges, you're a danger to society. You can't have, your bail was first set to 10 million and now it's reduced to 1 million, and it won't even be reduced down to 70,000, so that way you can afford to get bail to be out on the street. So it's like, you got to really think. It's just like, it's like, yes, we understand she almost attempted, however we want to look at it, however they choose to look at it. But also was also at the same thing. We're now dealing with it like 3 weeks later. It's like right in the courts, and it's like the first hearing. It's just like, it's like what is the urgency? What is it's like the fire, the speediness. Even her team is just like, can we get a speedy preliminary hearing, or do they just want to get through this? And you gotta wonder, what is that? And for Rihanna, with all this fast pacing energy going on around it, she still hasn't processed it, so she still might come off a bit defensive. like the Seven of Wands, like the Seven of Wands says, because she's still, like I said, concentration, hyper fixated, focus on it. It's still living, breathing through her veins still. Fire is life energy. Man, these fire analogies are coming through. So because of that, it's still alive within her, that incident. She could probably still go to sleep and still think about it, or she hears sounds and it almost brings back PTSD kind of thing. So because of that, it's still living vibrantly throughout her nervous system. And now it's like she's got to talk about it when she hasn't even fully processed and integrated it within inside of herself. So because of that, it's like she has to make sure that she's on her P's and Q's. And that's why I see that that King of Wands energy, that energy of that she is going to be strong, because she has to put on that brave face, put on that I got it all together, even though my mind is racing like a million things. So because of that, I want to know, does Rihanna feel safe within her house? Has Rihanna had the ability to feel safe within her house yet? The first thing that stood out to me was an exclamation point. Oh my God, you guys might actually be able to see these cards a little bit today. Well, you guys couldn't see it, but it said doubt before I even saw that. So it was like an exclamation, and it's like, yeah, I doubt it. She still has doubt to be able to feel comfortable to lay her head at rest at home until she, yeah, that's the best way I got it. Until she can feel comfortable and safe, until, like I said, when it's live and still living fresh within your nervous system like that, you got to get that energy out of you. And until she can get that energy with outside of herself and with outside of the loved ones around her, where they're also not living, talking about it as well, because talking about it keeps it alive as well. So once it can finally leave her vicinity, her atmosphere, and nobody's talking about it, nobody brings it up, it's just something that's like dead gone in the past, then she'll be able to feel a sense of comfort. I don't think she'll ever be able to feel as safe as she used to. And I'm not even sure if it's going to be, if she moves, if she will still feel that kind of safety. Because to know that somebody might actually try to act out their fantasies, as they say, is something that concerns her more than anything. So because of that, you know, when you were like so solid on something and you're just like, oh, they're just talking, they're never going to do it. And then it finally happens. And you're just like, oh my God, somebody might actually do it. It becomes a reality eye opener for you. But one more card that I want to pull is, how is her family processing this incident? I really like that. I have the summer card, and you're like, why would the family have a summer card? When this happened during the winter, still, because we just entered the spring, but still we're not even in that warm energy. Well, the first card that came out, the first things that came out to me was abundance, growth, and vitality. And you're just probably still wondering, how does that have to deal with such a tragic it really wasn't a tragic, an almost tragic incident. Well, because that's exactly it. It was almost tragic, but it wasn't. They're all still alive. They're all still whole. The family is still together. So because of that, they are rejoicing and celebrating that they are still here as one and as whole and as a unit together. So because of that, instead of hyperfixating on the negative, let's hyperfixate on the positive. However, like I said, when you're still focusing on the situation and you're concentrating on it, and you got things that are focusing your attention to it, you're going to remember the bad things, because it's going to creep up on you. You're going to hear a sound, or you're going to think of something, or you're going to go to sleep, and then you're just going to wonder. You might have a little bit of insomnia afterwards and those kinds of things. So because all of that, she's just got to work through it, and it's still fresh 3 weeks. So because of that, I just want to pull one last card, and I just want to pull a card for how is this case going to play out. Very interesting, because I got a dog, which is all about being loyal. And it's all about somebody that is a protector and a guide. So that could honestly, I like how the dog actually goes in line with the future card that I had pulled, which is the Hierophant, which is all about loyalty and commitments and being a protector even too on that same thing. Because when you're following suit, following protocols, and just the best way I could say is being cognizant of like the good and the bad and stuff like those things, you're able to, the best way I can say is move past the situation with a more, because the best thing that I can say is that physically it's going to be hard to forgive her, but like, once you can forgive inside of yourself and be able to close that, it's like I said it beforehand and I said it again. It's a weird thing that it happened to Rihanna, and it's crazy that she even says that it's odd in her own words. She said it was pretty odd that it was happening to her. So because of that, it still makes me wonder, and I'm back to that sentiment of why Rihanna? Like, why did this happen to Rihanna of all people? Like, for real. And why now of all times, when it's a whole lot of things of everybody just getting almost plucked off. Like I said, during that time when it happened, there was a lot of people that were getting targeted, their homes getting targeted, and Rihanna just happened to be one of those people. So it was just like mind boggling because of that, because that's why the bail's so big. That's why this is such a big case. That's why they're dealing with it immediately. That's why Rihanna this situation still living with inside of Rihanna, because it's so big, so energetic, so much going on around it. It needs time to see how this plays out. But I see moving here forward with the dog card. That's where I see the protector and the loyalty. We do see that the law is going to play out in the favor of Rihanna, and that's exactly what I see here with the Hierophant. Actually, I take that back. Even though this is the reading for Rihanna, the Hierophant is all about being just spiritually. So because of that, there is no, because like I said, I don't know why Rihanna needed this to happen to her. But, you got to think and wonder weird coincidences and odds things, one in a millions, right? So because of that, the Hierophant paired with the dog when it comes to this court case moving forward for Rihanna. The court system, the way I see it, is going to be just when it comes to dealing with this. They're going to be loyal and abide to the laws, and they're really going to think about this thoroughly, and they're going to really protect Rihanna, but also protect the security of celebrities, and to know that if anybody ever tries this on another celebrity, just know that you're going to be dealt with to this severity, so don't try it, kind of thing. Sometimes the court gotta flex a little bit. They did that with Diddy, right? But anyway, I'm making jokes. But anyway, that's the kind of vibe that I got here with Rihanna in this case. So with that being said, give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed this reading and commentary. I will be keeping up with this one as well. With that being said, please subscribe if you have subscribed already. Become a sunflower and spread those beautiful sunflower seeds. And also spread beautiful positivity and love towards Rihanna during this time, or anybody that could be going through similar situations. And it could even be like almost the possibility of losing a loved one, just having almost like a near-death experience without it being a near-death experience. So because of that, I hope you got that. And that's the kind of thing that Rihanna is like, her life flashed before her eyes, even though nobody was injured. So to be that close to near death, to brush up against it, to know that you could have had a chance. Somebody in your family could have had a chance. You think about, man, I should have been in the house. Why was I here that day? You start rewinding all those different things. And like I said, with the concentration, you start hyperfixating, thinking about replaying it over again, shoulda, coulda, woulda, all those sorts of things. Because of that, it gets a little bit monotonous. So with that being said, I'm sorry guys, my contacts are really playing games with me. So with that being said, I hope you enjoyed this reading. I sure did. Please subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. Give this video a thumbs up. Leave your comments down below. How do you feel about it? Do you think it's kind of crazy that that Ivana is set for life in prison if she gets convicted? Do you think that she is a danger to society? And hey, do you think that the court was wrong for denying her bail? And how do you feel about this whole situation, the oddity around it? And with that being said, I will see you guys in the next one. But you know what I have to say? Hype, hype, hype us up. Subscribe to us. Ayy. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Sunflowers.